proof that Tupac and Nate Dogg were defrauded $200,000 according to Reggie Wright by Death Row Records in an accounting scheme, allegedly to pay Nate Dogg's child support, in which Tupac didn't know he had to pay and Nate Dogg didn't know he was going to receive. Let's get into some of this straight game.
Yeah. Blackjack. Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. To play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in once again. I appreciate your time. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend. And like I always say, if you're new to the channel and you would like to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and hit the bell notification below this video. I'm going to get right into it. I want to bring you some more straight game, man. You know, like I said, once again, there's been a lot of information being put out there. But just the other day, Reggie Wright went on his channel and basically admitted that they defrauded Nate Dogg and Tupac out of $200,000. And you say, what, DELRAY? Yeah, they defrauded Nate Dogg and Tupac out of $200,000. Like I said, I've told y'all before, I'm gonna do this first. Reggie Wright had nothing to do with running Death Row, period, point blank. I showed you guys this court testimony by Suge Knight, but I wanted to get into a little bit more of what that really was. Suge Knight was the guy who ran Death Row at all times, you know, right or wrong, but I understand why Suge wanted to really keep, you know, control. But when he didn't run Death Row and when he went to prison, according to this court document right here, testimony in court under oath, Suge Knight basically says that, and I repeat, from 1996 to 2001, that Michel'le ran Death Row. At no time did Reggie Wright run Death Row, according to Suge Knight and Suge Knight's own words. Now, I'm going to contrast that with what Reggie Wright said about Tupac. Reggie Wright said, you know, I believe what Tupac said. Tupac said Suge bailed him out. I believe what Tupac said. Okay, you can believe what Tupac said. But if you're going to believe what Tupac said, then you have to believe what Suge said in court. Right? You can't have it three different ways. So Suge said in court that from 1996 until 2001, that Michel'le ran Death Row, point blank, period. Reggie Wright had nothing to do with the runnings of Death Row. Not to say that he wasn't around, not to say that he wasn't, you know, running errands and doing things like that. Like I said, Reggie Wright has yet to show us one contract where his name was signed at the bottom, approving or disapproving of any kind of deals that were done over there at Death Row. Another thing, Reggie Wright has spoken on Daz's publishing recently, saying that he owned Daz Publishing. Daz signed off on some kind of agreement for $75,000. Let me clear that up for y'all, right? Because what Reggie Wright is not admitting or trying to now backtrack and kind of backpedal on his story is the fact that when Daz sued Suge, Daz won that lawsuit. And by the fact that Suge didn't show up to court, so it was a default judgment, right? So now with a default judgment, all of the contracts and things that Daz was suing for, that basically saying that were the contracts that Daz say were breached, that weren't honored, and so on and so forth, all of those contracts become null and void. And Daz gets all of his rights back like he was supposed to get back in regards to that situation. So when Reggie talks about this $75,000 contract, that contract no longer is valid, point blank, period. Because don't think that if Reggie did own something, and the crazy part is he speaks as if he was the person that the money was owed to, if you will. Let's not forget, Suge Knight didn't show up to court, and that's why it was a default judgment. Not Reggie Wright didn't show up to court. So when Reggie Wright talks about Daz and Daz's situation, he speaks as if he was the one that was supposed to show up in court, and he was the one that held the paperwork in regards to Daz's rights and so on and so forth, right? So I wanted to square that away, along with, you know, him not actually running Death Row according to Suge Knight. Like I say, once again, you can't believe what Tupac said in regards to Suge bailing him out if you can't believe what Suge said in regards to, you know, Reggie Wright not actually running Death Row. I'm going to say it one more time. And here it is right here, you guys, so that you know. For the historical measure, like I said, Suge Knight was a G. He did his thing his way, right? But factually speaking, under oath in court, Suge Knight said that Michel'le from 1996 to 2001 was the person who was the president of Death Row Records. Point blank, period. Anything else that you're hearing, these are Suge Knight's words, is a lie, is an embellishment, and has nothing to do with the truth. Okay, now, so back to the point where I was telling you about the defrauding of Nate Dogg and Tupac in regards to the situation involving Nate Dogg and his child support. Reggie was on there talking about Nate Dogg's child support. Now, if you look at this video right here, from 4:08 into 5 minutes, from 4:08 to 5 minutes, you'll hear Reggie Wright explain how they billed Tupac after he died, not while he was alive, basically telling you that Tupac didn't agree to pay Nate Dogg $200,000, but because Death Row had, I think, advanced Nate Dogg $200,000, that when Tupac died, they in turn billed Tupac the $200,000 for Nate Dogg appearing on the various songs that he did on All Eyes on Me, right? So now, what you have to understand is Nate Dogg wasn't aware, because Tupac didn't agree to pay $200,000 for Nate Dogg to appear on those songs. They were label mates, according to what Reggie Wright was saying. But like I said, once again, Tupac was operating under a different budget. His budget wasn't accounted for by Death Row, but by Interscope, right? So now, you got to understand. So what Reggie Wright is saying, they billed Tupac $200,000 for Nate Dogg, when the question was initially asked about Nate Dogg's child support, right? The only thing that Nate Dogg owed for child support was basically $2,700. So how do you bill Tupac $200,000 and Nate Dogg only owed $2,700? You see where the fraud came in? And see, this was the thing that they talked about in the lawsuit in regards to Tupac actually being charged for things that he did not know that he was going to be charged for. You must understand this, you know, and you know, the I think it was $3 million in one instance, as you see this, and then it was another $600,000 for like production and audio costs and things like that, right? So basically what Reggie Wright just admitted was the fact that they were cooking the books. They were cooking the books, because if that were the case, think about it, then Nate Dogg would have wanted to know that, okay, I could charge Tupac $200,000, or I could charge him whatever X amount of dollars that I wanted to charge him, right? Nate Dogg didn't know that. He couldn't have known it, because like I said, Reggie just said that they basically billed that to Tupac, right, to help pay off Nate Dogg's child support. So the $200,000 came from Tupac. but Nate only owed $2,700 according to the check. Basically check number 15404, GJ reference number 16184P. You get it? So this is another thing about the situation involving in Reggie Wright and him really not knowing the information, once again involving the situation and running Death Row. Because if we're to believe that what he said is true, then basically Tupac and Nate Dogg both were defrauded, because neither of them knew that one was going to be paid $200,000, and Tupac didn't know that he was going to be paying $200,000 in regards to Nate Dogg appearing on the songs. Furthermore, when you talk about mechanical royalties, I do know from looking it up, and I looked it up. When you look up, let's say the song "Scandalous," right, from off of All Eyes on Me, the only person that were writers and publishers was Daz and Tupac, and then you see Suge's publishing, right? So therefore, even as a writer on that song, Nate Dogg wasn't credited for that from that perspective. You understand what I'm saying? So when you deal with that, like I say, at the end of the day, Nate didn't know that he was going to be paid, or should have been paid, $200,000, right? This is after Tupac's death. If that were the case, think about it. When Nate first did the songs and the album came out, it would have been known right then and there that he was going to get that $200,000, not after Tupac died. You understand what I'm saying? So because that's a regular fee that you would get, an upfront fee, and then Reggie attempts to use Snoop as an example, because Snoop just did a video recently talking about how much he charges for a verse and then to appear in a video, right? You can't even do that. That's not even equivalent. You know what I mean? The equivalency is off, from that perspective. Like I said, because if Snoop coming through, he's gonna be writing and doing his thing from that perspective. In the situation involving Nate Dogg, what Reggie's talking about, Nate Dogg made an appearance on the record from that perspective. I don't know if I would think that he probably didn't write, and Tupac probably told him what he wanted him to sing, and so on and so forth. So now, for that and that alone, like I said, Nate never knew that he was going to get $200,000, or $200,000 would be charged in his name, in the name of what Reggie's saying is, oh, that's why we did that, because we were recouping, because we gave him $200,000. No. And then you charge Tupac the $200,000? Absolutely not. So basically that's saying that, okay, we're going to charge Tupac $200,000. How? That's like you charging Tupac to pay Nate. But you're basically saying to pay Nate is to pay back Death Row. But you're charging Tupac because Tupac is under Interscope. That money's going to come from Tupac's Interscope contract, because he had no contract with Death Row. Listen to what I'm telling you. You understand what I'm saying? So if he charging Tupac $200,000 to pay to Nate, if Tupac was signed to Death Row, it wouldn't even really matter, because the money's all coming back to the same place from that perspective. So it's basically, I'm going to charge the winning artist, Tupac, right? The money to pay Nate in order to pay back what? That's where the fraud therein lies. So now when they do the accounting, they would say, okay, cool, we charging Tupac and his Interscope deal in order for that to be what that is. Like I said, he had no contract that anybody can show you, Reggie Wright or otherwise, with Death Row Records. So that $200,000 that they said that they charged Tupac fraudulently, in order to pay Nate Dogg, which Nate didn't know he was gonna get, right, came from Interscope. So you got to understand what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, Reggie Wright just agreed that Tupac and Nate Dogg were both defrauded through an accounting scheme. Basically, like I said, you see, Nate Dogg child support was only $2,700. So how do you get, when the initial question is asked in this video, how do you get from $2,700 to $200,000 for money that Nate Dogg didn't know that he was going to receive, and that Tupac didn't even know that he was going to have to pay, because it wasn't told to him, it wasn't mentioned to him while he was alive. Point blank, period. Know how I know that? Because he admits that it was something that had to do with the estate once they summed everything up. What up? And here you see it right here, that Tupac was paying for stuff that he didn't even know that he was supposed to be paying for. Your boy DELRAY, straight gang.